Synecdoche and metonymy are two other types of figures of speech that kind of work together. That is, they're in some ways related, just like we have extended metaphor and controlling metaphor, and those two like kissing cousins. And we can say the same thing about synecdoche and metonymy. They're similar in certain ways, but they're going to be different in others. A metonymy is when we take something that is closely related to something and we replace it with that. So sometimes you might hear on the news, a reporter might say, the White House issued a statement. Well, the White House didn't issue a statement. The White House is a building. It can't issue a statement. But what we mean is that the people who work in the White House, the president, the president's advisors, the administration, they issued a statement. They are closely related to the White House because that's where they do their work. And that's what we call a metonymy. A synecdoche is similar, except in a synecdoche we take part of something and we use that to stand in for the whole. I gave an example earlier when I first started talking about figure of speech, and I said I might, instead of talking about my car, I might talk about my wheels. Well, wheels are part of a car, and they stand in for that. And so sometimes we use that to help us think about the car. We might get a better picture of it. We can picture those actual wheels going down the street. We might emphasize the fact that the function of a car is motion, to actually have those wheels rolling down the road. And so that's how the synecdoche helps us think about this object somewhat differently. If we look at the poem Lying in a Hammock in William Duffy's Farm in Pine Island, Minnesota, in that poem he talks about the cowbells follow one another into the distances of the afternoon. The cowbells follow one another? Well, no, the cowbells can't follow one another, right? What can follow one another? The cows. The cowbells, however, are closely associated with the cows, and so those can be a metonymy. However, you could also think about it this way. To what extent are the cowbells a part of the cow? If they're a part of the cow, then they would be a synecdoche. And so sometimes metonymy and synecdoche are difficult to separate. It's hard for us to understand which one is which. Sometimes it's perfectly clear with something like the White House or something like the wheels when we're talking about a car, but in something like those cowbells, those two things do cross. But do keep in mind just the definitions of those two and the different ways, again, that we are able to use figures of speech to help us understand better the larger idea that we're trying to get across.